has a daring quest.
The capture of a live grizzly.
And how do you intend catching this bear, sir?
My secret weapon. My son, Harry Bankston.
The story of a young boy.
How you doing?
The father he loved.
Did I ever tell you about the tiger hunt I went on with the King of Siam?
You met the King of Siam?
The incredible animal they both wanted to capture.
Harry! He's gone.
Until I see a body, he's alive.
You got that?
And the search
Come on, this way!
that would change their lives
Look out!
forever. Now, the one thing Harry Bankston didn't count on
My dad's gonna go! I'll make a big bear rug out of you!
was making a new friend.
You're such a grouch. I'm gonna call you Mizzy, because you're miserable all the time. All right, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Feel the excitement.
Yes!
Share the adventure.
Harry! We're up here!
Experience this heartwarming tale of trust,
Oh my gosh, it's happening! We got fire! Well, don't be frightened. See if we can control it.
courage,
Mizzy! Ah!
and surprises.
I got one! Yeah! Woo!
Grizzly Falls. Available on video cassette and DVD. A magical friendship
So, what do you think?
destined to become a legend. From Artisan Home Entertainment, Family Home Entertainment, and Providence.
This April, Artisan and Family Home Entertainment are going wild with 5 new Discovery and Animal Planet titles that offer astonishing answers to some of nature's most confounding questions. Why dogs smile and chimpanzees cry? How animals do that? And why Steve is so wild. About crocodiles.
By crikey, she's a gnarly little Sheila.
Explore the many moods of the animal kingdom. In Discovery Channel's award-winning Why Dogs Smile and Chimpanzees Cry. Narrated by Academy Award nominee Sigourney Weaver. Available for the first time on both video and DVD. Then uncover some of nature's best-kept secrets in Discovery Channel's amazing How Animals Do That. Also for the first time ever on video. And from Down Under, come 3 Animal Planet adventures from the outrageous Crocodile Hunter series. Wow! Steve's greatest crocodile captures, Steve's most dangerous adventures, and Steve's story, the astounding tale of how it all began. Available separately or collect them all in a money-saving 3-pack or DVD. This April, you can own these 5 Discovery Channel and Animal Planet Video real-life adventures on video and DVD wherever videos are sold. From Artisan and Family Home Entertainment.
Family Home Entertainment. From our family to yours, there's something special for everyone. At www.familyhomeent.com.
Snakes, hippos in the peak of the drive. Woo! Cobras, crocodiles, snakes, Komodo dragons, and tiger sharks. We go into tiger territory. These are the animals that we encounter on this adventure.
It doesn't matter if they fly, crawl, slither, or swim. Nobody can bring you as close to these beautiful animals as Steve.
Yeah! G'day, I'm Steve Irwin. We've been filming the Crocodile Hunter wildlife documentary films for years, and some of my most dangerous moments have been captured both on and off the camera. Between the scenes, on the scenes, behind the scenes, you name it, we've got a compilation of vision that you're about to see of my most dangerous encounters. Come on, Charlie.
For the most part, wildlife likes to keep its own space, in its own territory. But the only way we can learn about special animals and share them with you is to get right in there, right in the action. And sometimes it can be a bit dangerous. Whether it's tiger sharks under the ocean, crocodiles along a river, or cobras up a tree, Steve's first to get into it. He wants to learn about these animals and share it with the world. So stick around for some of Steve's more dangerous adventures.
Sharks. Conjures up fear, just that very word. Well, I'm going to take you into tiger shark territory. One of my favourite locations for sharks is out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I built myself an aluminium shark cage and I took it out there in my dinghy to try and study, get an understanding, get a passion and awareness of one of the greatest, most awesome predators of our ocean, the tiger shark. Mind you, they scared the living daylights right out of me. They made the dinghy that Terry was sitting in look like a tin can bobbing on the ocean. Crikey, they're big. And once there's food in the water, they hit hard, real hard. Have a look at this.
I've had some pretty close encounters with tiger sharks through the years while I've been diving and snorkeling around my coastline. They cause me fear, they cause me to shake, and for good reason. They have been known to attack, kill, and eat people.
So this is tiger territory, one of the hottest spots I know of for tiger sharks. And I tell you what, I want to use the safety of a cage because I find tiger sharks one of the most awesome, one of the most fearsome predators of the ocean. I don't think they're evil, ugly monsters that kill people, but I just want to get the feel for them before I take the risk, if I take the risk, of getting outside the cage. Here we go.
Suey's a little bit worried about Steve because he's going in the shark cage. We're putting a little food out for the sharks. If we give them a free feed, they're more willing to come in. We'll be able to see them a lot closer. Now, it's a little bit daunting because the sharks can be very large, but hopefully the safety of the cage will keep Steve in a position where he can observe them without the worry of getting chomped.
I knowingly enter tiger shark territory. I've seen a lot of tiger sharks over the years in this particular area, and we're throwing little bits of bait in to try and lure them to the cage where I can have a good close look at them. Tiger sharks grow huge, and they have been documented to kill and eat people, but that doesn't make them an evil, ugly monster. And here comes the first take.
There's just one dorsal fin I can see.
And our weight pays off. One dorsal fin, two. Pretty soon, there's several big steamer sharks coming.
They're headed right in.
The bait's worked. They come straight for the boat. They're inquisitive.
Now, hopefully with the food out, not only will we get a close look, but we'll get to see some feeding behavior. The tiger sharks are notorious for being absolute scavengers whenever there's any kind of food or dying animal. History has it that boat wrecks and so forth were just descended upon by hordes of tiger sharks in these waters.
Nothing, but nothing conjures up more fear than a shark's fin cutting through the water when you're sitting in it or so close to it. Look at the size of this one. Closely followed by another one. There's at least 6 sharks, maybe 7 sharks. And they're coming in closer and closer, circling, taking it all in, looking with those big black eyes. The first thing that I've noticed now in this study is that they're not coming in like some blind attacking predator, just going straight for the throat, straight for the kill. They're checking it out. They're slow, methodical, and inquisitive. They really like the look of Terry in that dinghy.
She's coming right in. Here's one right now.
Big female. Whoa, look at this. We're gonna have to be careful, really careful. This is no place to make a mistake. These things are huge, averaging 12 to 14 feet. Right at the boat. The bulk, the depth of them, they're massive. Ooh, now they're coming at me. Here's another big female. Monster female. Look at the size of her.
These are some big fish.
She makes that dinghy look like a Coke can. She is massive. Huge big fish. I couldn't even estimate how big she is.
Now, Steve's got an open top on the cage, so as they're jiggling it, it's very intimidating. If the cage rolls at all, they'll have a wide open top just to go right through, so it's a little bit daunting.
Terry's worried about me, I'm worried about her. If only she knew how small that dinghy looks from under the water. Look at the size of this shark compared to the dinghy. 2 of them, 3 of them. They dwarf the dinghy. Those big, blunt heads, razor-sharp teeth and the black eyes. Oh, look at this, sussing me right out. Woo, careful, Steve-O, don't let your arm fall out of that cage.
This is incredible.
And scary. I'm scared for Terry as the sharks get bolder and bolder, hitting the dinghy with intention. There's more sharks than I can count. Every way I turn my goggles, I can see sharks. And the casual, timid nature of the shark. Incredible to see. They're not ferociously attacking with gusto and pace and aggression. They casually come up to the bait, bite, chomp down, and pull and swim away. Look at this one, upside down. Woo! Look at the size of that one. It's that same huge, big female. Have a look at the size of the sharks compared to Terry's dinghy. This one is massive. Huge.
Here they go, right around. Now they're at the engine.
They're biting the outboard. Whoa, they're starting to get a bit of rivalry, a bit of aggression between the sharks. This big female, she's got right away. All of the others give her a wide berth. She feeds first. There's obviously a structure in this feeding mode. eyes. Oh, look at the way this one's coming vertically straight up from the depths. Whack! Hits the bait. Those little fish that are swimming underneath them, they're remoras, sucker fish. And they pick up the scraps of food left behind by the shark. Their mouth is as wide as my entire body. And the colour. The tiger sharks have a beautiful coloration. Those spots and stripes set them out as one of the most majestic and beautiful sharks in our ocean. This one's grabbed hold of a fish and just slices it straight in half. Ooh, and then thinks my flippers might be edible.
I've never experienced anything like this. We've got a boy just there with the camera attached to it, and on the camera is a bit of food, so the sharks will come in. They're hammering it. I'm afraid they're gonna just eat the camera.
So I've got the camera rigged on a float with a piece of bait, and the sharks circle round, they grab the float and then the bait. Awesome way to get some vision. Science is just starting to understand the unique nerve endings that the sharks have in their head throughout their body, which allow this shark to tell the bait from the camera, which is seen as an inanimate object. And now that he's eaten the bait, my camera should be safe, which is gonna mean we can continue some awesome vision. With their focus off the camera, they're coming straight back at me. And here they come. We've run out of bait and they're still hungry. This is gonna get really interesting. Now, they're looking at me as a potential food source.
They're coming from every angle.
Look at that nictitating membrane, that eyelid. That's a protective eyelid, so when they go in for a hit, they shut that, protects their eyes. And they're coming in, they're coming at me from every angle. I can't keep up with them. See the way they use that eyelid? Testing with their head, testing. They know I'm in there, and they're trying to work out how to get me out. Ooh, this is getting spooky. Talk about fear. I got adrenaline surging through my veins. They're just circling, coming from different angles. It's like one draws my attention while another one comes in from behind or from underneath. So far, so good. They're just nudging the cage. I've never been this close to man-eaters. What an unforgettable, yet highly dangerous situation. Oh! Straight at me. That one had intent. When I built this cage, I never anticipated I'd have so big, so many animals all over me, trying to pluck me out like opening a can of sardines. Look at the size of this one. And it means business. It's keen.
We hang on.
Tension's mounting. I gotta get out. I'm gonna have to get out soon. They're pushing it. They're coming in harder. And this one's intent on getting in the cage. He's searching, prodding with his head. He wants me bad. He's looking for a gap. Oh no, if he gets in there. Oh!
Hang on, mate, I'm coming in.
Okay. close. They know when you're moving.
How's the way when they hit that bait, they just went into a frenzy? You okay, Suey?
Watch Suey that she doesn't fall in. They're hitting the boat.
Woo! Tigers.
They're my absolute all-time favourite animal in the ocean, the tiger shark.
I've been working with... Hey. You're all right, mate. Come on then, buddy. Come on then, Uggs. I've been working with crocodiles all my life. I've virtually grown up with them. And no one is beyond making mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made was with this big dinosaur crocodile right here. When he was reaching maturity, I had him over there with some young girls and a few other young blokes. And he started belting up the young blokes and trying to mate with the young female, so I had to catch him out. I thought, I got an idea. I know how to catch him. I'll go in there with a food source and a lasso. So as I walk down towards the water's edge, I've gone, come on boy, with a chicken in this hand and a lasso in the other hand. And he's seen the chicken and he's gone, right, I'd like a feed, gone under the water, utilised his camouflage technique, stalked me, come up, and he's gone fling straight out of the water, struck straight at me. Only the bite was quicker than the eye. As I drew him up with the chicken and threw the lasso, whack! He's beaten my hand, grabbed it, and just pulled straight back into the water. Luckily enough, all of my instincts came together. I went loose. I didn't go rigid. If I had gone rigid and resisted, whoo, he'd have pulled my arm right out at the socket and probably eaten it. So I went loose, he dragged me into the water. I spun in the air instinctively, and as I hit the water, whack, I landed on his head. Luckily, because that gave him a bit of a shock, he let go, pulled away, which gave me enough time to get out of the water and get out of the way. It's always dangerous working around big reptilian predators like these. You can't afford to make too many mistakes, but I got all my digits, all my limbs. I've been very lucky, and that's about the closest shave I've ever had.
Crocodiles attack so hard and fast from the water's edge that their prey doesn't get enough time to squeak after they've been hit. Whack! Grabs my hand back into the water so quick that my backup couldn't do a thing about it. His teeth penetrated straight through my hand. A dangerous mistake that I'll never make again. It's quick, real quick.
Woo, that hurt. But you gotta hand it to Graham. His bite's quicker than my eye. And I learnt that was a big mistake. And I don't blame Graham. He's just a naughty boy. Those teeth went straight through my hand. But I never got any permanent damage. And the most important thing is that I remember to learn from my mistakes. I got dropped into Zambia on the Luangwa River to paddle downstream and look at the wildlife. However, I ran into some really angry hippos. In some countries of Africa, hippos are known to cause more human fatalities than any other species, even more so than Nile crocodiles. And by crikey, they get grumpy. They pushed me right out of the river. They've got huge, great tusks, and when they get angry, they charge straight at you. I was quite fearful and respectful of them, so I went around them. I left my canoe in the end.
To most of us, the hippopotamus looks like a lovable, lumbering giant that's about as dangerous as a big fat marshmallow. Nothing could be further from the truth. The hippo is one of the most dangerous animals on Earth, and in parts of Africa, they cause more human deaths than any other animal, including deadly species of snake and the powerful Nile crocodile. They can literally bite a person in half with huge razor-sharp tusks and massive jaws in a head that can weigh half a ton.
Check this out. Stampede. Wow.
Because of the dry season, most of the water holes have evaporated until they're quite small. The hippo is very territorial, but pushed in mass like this together, they become extremely agitated and aggressive. Anything that enters their territory is seen as a potential threat. As Steve's paddling through, just having a look at them, you never know when they're going to react. Typically, there's one dominant male, one bull, whose job it is to protect the territory and his cows. And there he is. He's eyeing Steve off right now, angling for a better position to make sure Steve's not going to infringe on his territory or his girls.
Wow! Do you see that? Now, that one in front there, that's the biggest bull male. He'd be well over 20 years of age, and that's a subordinate male. And he's just making sure that that young bloke doesn't get in on his girl. Here we go.
The bull's changed focus and is starting to show aggression towards Steve.
Hey, I don't want anything to do with this, guys.
And size counts. He wins. It's time for me to get out.
Talk about out of the pot and into the fire. I avoided getting chomped by hippos only to find myself surrounded by the second largest crocodile in the world, the Nile crocodile. And they've been known to kill and eat people. I crept up on my belly right up to a hippopotamus that had died. And it was a smelly old carcass. The crocodiles were circling it. They came in, grabbed and started head rolling and thrashing around on it. I was so close, I could have reached out and touched them. Luckily enough, they were so captivated and enthusiastic about getting a feed, they didn't even know I was there. They were headbutting and thrashing around. Whew, I was scared. I was quite packed with adrenaline, but I got away with it. One of my jobs while we're filming is to keep the camera crew alive. Once the frenzy had died down and finished, then I had to get the camera crew across the very same water that the crocodiles were feeding in and back to the safe high bank. Have a look at this.
This hippopotamus died in the peak of the dry, and you can see the crocodile numbers starting to mount. The carcass starts to putrefy, and the smell goes up and down the river course, sending the crocs into a bit of a frenzy. My job was to get up right there smack in amongst the crocodiles alongside the carcass to secure some brilliant vision just like this. My backpack just about always has a digital camera sitting in it ready to go.
There must be 100 crocodiles in on it.
This is what I've come here for, to get right in amongst them, to study the feeding frenzy of the Nile crocodile, second largest croc species in the world. And amongst it, I'm right in it. I never realised that there'd be this many crocs and huge. Okay, fight. This is what I wanted to see. It looks like a fight, but there's no blood. They're not biting each other. They're simply ripping, tossing, turning, pulling, tugging, and death rolling on the carcass. Look at this full body roll. They use each other as anchors to grab hold of a piece of carcass and then pull and rip and tear it apart. Close, I'm less than 6 feet from the action.
Oh, look at this, look at this. Crikey, it just looks like they're going at it. Yeah, the carcass is going.
They're so intense on feeding that they don't even notice the hippo carcass floating by, which gives me the perfect opportunity to sneak in a little closer. Bang! Headbutt! I'm almost lulled into a false sense of security when they concentrate on the pieces of food that they've got in the water. And when they've got a full belly, they crawl out onto a sunning bank.
Yes!
My job isn't over yet. Seeing the feeding frenzy was great, but now my job is to ensure that the camera crew gets out safely. We know there's at least 100 crocodiles sitting in these waters.
Before the feeding frenzy, the crocodiles would materialize out of nowhere one by one. Now they've melted back into the scenery. They've camouflaged themselves again, and the crew isn't sure where they've gone to. We just know they're all around.
So I shout to the crew, move now, stay in the shallow water. Keep yourself between the logs and the water's edge.
The carcass is still floating downstream, keeping the crocodiles a little bit on edge, a little bit hungry. And this water, even though it's only knee-deep, can easily camouflage a crocodile big enough to strike a human.
The rules are, the camera crew has to listen to me intently. Where I point, where I shout, they've got to do it, and they've got to do it accurately and without falling over. Slipping over in this water could stimulate another feeding frenzy on our cameraman. I take great pride in getting them in and getting them out safely. As you can see, there's just as much danger behind the scenes as in front of the camera.
It's so exciting to have a crew that finds these animals just as special as we do. They know that there's risk involved, but they want to bring these animals to everyone to show them how beautiful and magnificent they are and worthy of our protection. Careful, Steve. He's gonna lighten the load a little bit just in case. Sometimes while you're in the middle of all the action, you forget just how dangerous the situation can be.
Now, snakes don't just run out in the bush and strike at you and bite you on the legs or the face or anything they can get their teeth into just because you're there. They strike as a defensive mechanism. The only way that they can defend themselves from potential predators is to bite. And this one gets himself into an S position and has a bit of a strike. You can see he's already getting grumpy. Hey, steady, mate. And he's only defending himself. He thinks that I want to eat him. And I've got to deal with some of the wildest snakes in the world. Worse than this one, some of them are highly venomous.
Ooh, whack straight at my face. And again. Why is it that snakes go straight for my face? Ooh, they're defending themselves. I wouldn't want to take a whack off this one. It's a green viper, highly venomous, scrub python. And this beak snake goes straight for my face. I wouldn't want to take a bite there. Oh, Tassie tiger. Hey, saw scale viper.
Look at that. Naughty little snake.
It's got me.
Bummer.
Unfortunate thing is, I can't remember if this snake's venomous or non-venomous, so I quickly get him off the road so he doesn't get run over and resort to a book.
Slaty grey.
when hunting leisure. If cornered or grasped, it responds by biting fearlessly and repeatedly. I've got good news, babe. It's non-venomous. I've been catching snakes all my life. The most venomous snakes in the world are the ones that I've mostly been working with. In actual fact, when I was 4 years of age, I stuck my foot right on a common brown snake, the second most venomous snake in the world, pinned it until Dad came up and got it. By crikey, I got into a lot of trouble. But it wasn't nearly as dangerous as the Egyptian cobra you're about to have a look at. This thing went off the Richter scale. It was so ballistic, it was launching itself out of the tree, trying to sink its fangs into me. Crikey, it was dangerous. Really dangerous. I was just flat out keeping out of its way. Woo! One wild unit.
This one is venomous, highly venomous. Cobra. Africa's full of cobras. I'd go for my sunglasses. Until I can work out what species it is, I've got to protect my eyes in case it's a spitter. Ah, looking behind, I can tell it's an Egyptian cobra. They don't spit. They've got huge, great fangs and capable of a penetrating bite and a huge, toxic amount of venom, which would kill an adult human easily. They're known for their aggression and powerful venom. I can't believe how aggressive this one is. It's gone straight into a tree. I reckon that the large mammals that have tramped straight past it have stirred it up. And coming from a land of large mammals, one of the best places you could retreat would be in a tree.
This is the Egyptian cobra, and they're notoriously aggressive. Very toxic venom. And I tell you what, this snake is grumpy. Might have something to do with all the game animals. I'm gonna see if I can get him out of there. I have never seen a snake more aggressive than this in my life. He flew straight at us. Come on, buddy.
As I gently try and manipulate its thick body with a forked stick, it's then that I understand the potential danger of this snake. It is so aggressive, it is beside itself. It's just all throwing itself straight at me.
Out that way, buddy. You can't come this way. You can't come this way.
If I can get it on the ground, onto flat, level ground, I've got a good chance.
Now I'm in. You're all right, mate. You're all right.
It means business.
Snake is aggressive as this.
Its mouth's open.
This must be pretty typical for the Egyptian cobra. You're all right, mate. You're all right. You're all right, buddy. You're all right. You're okay. Settle down. You're all right, buddy. How's that for aggressive? He's a super aggressive snake. Crikey. I might just leave this guy on his own. He is so wired, so aggressive.
Oh, a couple of biting strikes just to send me on my way.
Woo, she's murky. Real murky. I remember making this mistake once before, and it was one of the most incredible shark experiences of my life. Unforgettable and scary. Man, I was sweating bullets. I went down, hit the bottom, come along, started going up like this big volcano under the water, and here they are, giant silhouettes just hovering right above me. And I had no idea of knowing what species of sharks they were. Woohoo!
It's my job to keep an eye on Steve. If he pops up and needs help, I've got to be there for him.
As I skim along the bottom in the murky depths, I hit the rock wall and start to ascend straight towards the most ominous silhouette I've ever seen. A shark, and it's not alone. There's more than one hovering right above me, and I stick to the rock like an oyster, not game to get out wide enough because I've got no idea of knowing what species they are. All I know is they're big, real big, 10 foot plus. Look at this! Sharks conjure up fear, and I've got no idea of knowing what species they are. As I cruise in closer, throwing caution to the wind, I get to realise that they're grey nurse. They're grey nurse sharks. They've got huge, great, penetrating teeth that jut right out. But they're harmless. They're fish eaters. Uh-oh, what's this? I can see another one, another big silhouette coming through the fish. Woo, it's a grey nurse too. I feel I'm surrounded by sharks. Do you see that? They seem like they're scared of my presence, and as they come in, as they glide in close, they have a fear response, bang their tail and take off. Here comes another one. I've got to get in so close, the water is just too murky. Beautiful animal. I love my sharks. And these ones are big. They're almost 12 feet in length. Huge. Look at this one coming up through a gutter. Grey nurse sharks are now classified as an endangered species in Australia, and for good reason. People used to kill them ruthlessly, thinking they were a potentially man-eating shark. They're not, they're fish eaters. And my confidence starts to build, and I cruise in closer and closer for a better look. What started out as one of my most fearful moments has turned into the experience of a lifetime. A beautiful shark experience.
Steve encountered dragons on Komodo Island, home of the largest lizard on the face of the earth. They are known to be able to take down something the size of a buffalo, but Steve wants to see for himself just how close he can get to these reptilian giants.
These huge, dinosaur-like lizards have been roaming our Earth for millions of years, and I wanted to get right in there to understand how they work. And the best place to do that is Indonesia's Komodo National Park. Woo! Komodo dragon welcoming party. Holy smokes, this is gonna be an adventure. Excuse me. I never really understood the potential danger that I was getting myself into. I never quite realised that these two giant goannas saw me as a food source. And as I approached, unknowingly, they just struck straight at me, going for my calf muscles, trying to pull them out. Their teeth are like razors. One bite, one laceration, and I'd bleed out and be dead in an instant. The smell of blood would send other dragons into a frenzy, and they'd come from everywhere. Holy smokes, that was too close. Hey, yeah. Let's follow them. Sometimes I am such a knucklehead. I can't believe I let myself walk straight into a potentially dangerous conflict with the largest lizard on Earth. But the day wasn't over. Here's the next near-fatal mistake I make. This bloke is one wild unit, and he's eaten a fishing line. I thought it was in the lizard's best interest that I try and get that fishing line out. As usual, I put my life on the line to try and save the animal. It doesn't realise that I'm trying to help it, and I try to get myself out in front of the Komodo dragon and pop the bait out. Ooh, sure enough, it comes out, and that sends him into a feeding frenzy. Straight at me. He's in attack mode, and he's gonna bite my calf muscles out. Look at this, straight after me. I've got no choice but retreat into a tree. And he comes after me, jaws agape, ready to bite. He strikes, he clips my boot. He wants me dead, he's trying to eat me. He's coming up after me. Unbelievable. He's just clicked. This is a great demonstration of how dangerous they are. How's this? Check this out. Look at that. That's one tooth. One tooth straight through my leather boots, straight through the Gore-Tex, into the sock. Look at that. He's sitting there, eh? He's like in sensory overload. Holy smokes. Whoo. Danger, danger, danger. Unbelievable. I'm just gonna ease myself out of this tree. If only he knew I was trying to help him. I've got that boot hung up in my room at home. What a souvenir. What a great example of how dangerous they can be. We're out of here, come on. Back up in the vine scrub, I locate a megapode nest. Have a look at the size of this mound, and there's Komodos all around. Now's my chance to demonstrate that the Komodo isn't an evil, ugly monster that's cruising around the archipelago just waiting to kill and eat people. There's a lot of Komodos around. They're in and out of the nest, looking for eggs. Some of them are feeding, some of them are waiting their turn. Whammo! Licks me right on the face. Licked on the face by a Komodo dragon. There's Komodos everywhere. This one's coming in. They seem to all be hungry. They're checking me out. Luckily enough, I don't think I smell too good. I don't smell like a normal food source. But if I bleed, they're gonna come from everywhere and just start ripping right into my carcass. I'm cautious, and for good reason. The Komodos have bacteria in their saliva which will kill large mammals. They've got great sight, hearing, and smell with their forked tongue, and they're circling all around me. And I'm prepared to hold my ground. I'm the species coordinator for varanids, which are the goanna-like lizards that roam our Earth. Australia has the biggest stronghold of goanna species in the world, and to come one-on-one with these Komodos is a huge learning curve. The knowledge that I'm picking up here, I'll be able to send across the world in the scientific manuscripts that I write. They are really interested. Luckily, they don't take a test bite, because their teeth cut like razors. And the first smell of blood, and all of these lizards would be right on top of me. These two are having a standoff. You can see they're puffing up their throats. It's a fight. It's two young males and they're fighting. Got a fight on our hands. They're teenagers. They're not adults. They're having a standoff and then they go chest to chest. Very powerful animal. And what an honour to share their territory and survive. Up. I've been climbing rock walls all my life. In fact, I'll climb anything. Trees, rock walls, fences. And when I was a small boy, my mum always used to look up if she couldn't find me down. I nearly killed both Terry and I on an escarpment that was no place for a novice. Here we go, mate.
Right.
Gotcha. Thanks. Steve's used to rock climbing, but I was pretty new to it when we first started out and made a mistake. Now, climbing is mostly mental. You gotta know the rock, and you gotta work with the person you're climbing with. Now, mistakes can happen, and the rock is very unforgiving. Gotcha.
You can see how here this gorge has been etched into this rock over millions and millions of years. Safety is of utmost importance. This is a long way. Listen to this.
Kidding. We're going down there?
We're going down there.
Steve has a real sense of adventure and loves to explore new wild places. I'm going along too, mostly just to explore what kind of wildlife will live at the bottom of this canyon.
Okay, Terry, I'm going to go around first. That way, at least I can put a bit of weight on this safety. But bear in mind, all I can do is put weight on this safety. Okay, so let me get round there first.
The safety is simply an umbilical cord, a rope that I've attached from me to Terry. What a mistake! What I should have done is made safe connections, attachments to the rock, and have a series of ropes running off Terry. She's a novice. And she's having trouble, a lot of difficulty.
You can do it. You can do it.
It's a sheer drop.
Stay on the bridge.
Do I have to come up now?
And the rock is over vertical. It doesn't get any more dangerous than this.
All right, get your hand up onto this one. All right, feel confident with it.
Okay.
Just try and get your knee up there. Holy cow! Stay where you are. Wait, you right? Oh, try and hang on, babe. You pull a knee down.
The rocks just crumbled out from underneath me. When you fall, it's not a big spectacular thing. It's more sliding down on your face. Suddenly, I'm at the end of the rope, literally hanging off of Steve. The only way I didn't just fall to my death.
I've driven my other hand inside a crack and made a fist hole while I try and drag Terry back up the rock. It's amazing how her strength is zapped so quickly.
I'm hanging over vertical, waiting for Steve to pull me back up, and he just doesn't have the power because it's such a huge overhang.
Terry, get your arm up now.
I can't do it.
Get your arm up. Okay, here we go. Right, arm up.
I've got to talk her through the fear, grab hold of her wrist, and then skull drag her straight up the escarpment.
Finally, I can feel a foothold, but I don't have any strength left in my hand, and it's just up to Steve to drag me up.
A huge mistake I'll never make again.
That fall had to be one of the scariest moments of my entire life. When the rock slipped away, I was amazed that you don't fall backwards like a cartoon, off the side of the cliff. You kind of slide down on your face. I lost a lot of bark off my legs and my arms, and it was absolutely terrifying. Luckily, Steve had us tied together, or it would have been a whole different story. Now I've learned it's important when we're climbing to take that extra step for safety, because it's just not worth taking a shortcut. And now our climbing adventures are a lot safer and just as exciting. Rattlesnakes would have to be one of Steve's very favorite animals. And while he was checking out the timber rattler in the United States, he had a very dangerous moment. Now there's rattlesnakes all around, and he's picking them up one after another and so excited about what he's doing when all of a sudden he hears the sound. And the rattle goes off. Now the rattlesnake has heat-sensing pits. It can tell a 0.4 degree temperature variance. The rattlesnake Steve didn't notice was right between his legs. And guess where the warmest spot is? You bet. With fangs poised and an ability to inflict a necrotic-type bite, Steve was more than a little bit worried in this dangerous moment.
another one there. 4 of them. 4 of them, and they're the dark form too. Exactly what we've been looking for. Come on, little one. How's that? 4 in one spot, all dark. Come on, mate. You're all right. Are you all right? I'm happy. Have a look at this one. You're all right, mate. Now, this is the darker colour. Sometimes when you get up into the higher elevations, they'll get darker. It enables them to heat up a lot quicker. And this is a little fat female one. A little girl one. You know, the fascinating thing with the female timber rattlesnake is that they may only reproduce 2-3 times in their entire life. I've got another one between my legs. Just hold your ground, guys. Down there. Holy smokes, that was a little bit too close. That was way too close. Sitting right in between my legs. There must be 6, 7, maybe more timber rattlers, all dark coloration, sitting right in there. This is their den site. Oh. You're a funny little one.
I've got a real strong rapport with the United States Armed Forces, and I was asked to assist at Eglin Air Force Base with their program removing and relocating venomous snakes while the Rangers did a training course. Of course, the Rangers are the elite of the armed forces. Those blokes are one wild fighting unit, and they asked me to do a speech to them. Dangerous? I was scared stiff.
I'm here at Eglin Air Force Base to talk to one of the most elite fighting forces in the world, the Rangers.
Steve Irwin. Good afternoon, Rangers. Today I'd like to gift to you my knowledge on alligators and crocodilians. Here in Florida, this is the species of crocodilian that would have the capacity to deliver a fatal bite to you. In fact, an alligator, once it gets over 12 feet in length, would not only have the capacity to kill you, it will eat you. Yeah. Not that side. You can see this beautiful little girl here. She's only 7 feet in length. She would not be considered as a danger to a ranger. Can you hear that? Go again, sweetheart. When they hiss, when you're close enough to an alligator to hear it go, you're in a load of trouble. The American crocodile I would consider as placid. They will not strike a human. Perhaps in a few years, if numbers do get up to a nice level, then a very small baby person, like a little child, perhaps at night, left on its own in a swamp, could be attacked by a crocodile, by an American crocodile. This is Big John, and he's right over there. He's the Ranger mascot, and he's a beautiful animal. God only knows how old he is, but he's been in some hardcore battles, and I reckon he's won them all. And he's the perfect mascot for the Rangers, because you are the toughest blokes on the face of the earth. In your lifetime as Rangers, you're going to be spending a fair amount of time in the water, particularly here in North America, in gator territory. So while you're moving around and they're looking up, you look big because, well, you're Rangers. And you're tough. Good luck.
I hope I've been of some assistance. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thanks, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Imagine how intimidated I was out in front of those blokes. Snakes! Dragons, hippos, crocodiles, sharks. These are the heroes. It's my job, it's my ambition, my passion in this world to conserve these beautiful yet dangerous animals.
We're going to continue to make Crocodile Hunter wildlife documentary films for as long as we can. And I reckon we'll continue to have dangerous adventures. It's in the nature of our industry that we're getting close onto their terms, one-on-one, and into some wild territory.
Some of the most special animals on Earth happen to be the most dangerous, and we love getting in and amongst them. But they do bite back, and we're going to capture it all on film for you to enjoy.
Yeah, too right.